Every Halloween, we dress up the darkness. We carve smiling faces into pumpkins, pretending the night belongs to us. But once, long ago, this night was never meant for laughter. It was a warning, a time when the dead could walk among the living, when something ancient and hungry stirred beneath the blood-red moon. The stories called them monsters, we called them myths, but the truth is far older and far darker, because Halloween wasn't created to celebrate fear. It was created to protect us from what waits in the shadows. From them, the vampires who never died. Every year, as October's chill settles in, we prepare for the same ritual. Pumpkins on doorsteps, candles in windows, masks over our faces. We tell ourselves it's all for fun, a night of make-believe. But maybe it's something older, something deeper. We love Halloween because it lets us dance with our fears. For one night, the shadows don't hide from us. They join the party. We become the monsters, the witches, the ghosts. And in pretending to be them, we remember them. Long ago, this night was sacred. People gathered to honor their dead, to pray for protection as the veil thinned between worlds. They left food for wandering spirits, whispered blessings for those who had gone before. Halloween was never just about fear. It was about respect. A promise to the past that we would not forget. But now the prayers have fallen silent. The candles still burn, but few remember why. We trade offerings for candy, reverence for laughter, and yet something in us still stirs. When the wind howls, when the night feels too quiet, we feel that ancient pulse in our blood, the memory of what this night once was. Maybe that's why we still love Halloween. Because deep down, we know it's not only about death or fright, it's about remembering that the world is thin, that we are never truly alone in the dark, and that some traditions should never be forgotten. Long before vampires sparkled in stories or stalked across screens, they haunted the real world, not in castles, but in graves. Centuries ago, in the lonely villages of Eastern Europe, the dead did not always stay buried. When disease swept through, bodies were found pale and bloated, with dark blood at their mouths. The living could not explain it, so they created something that could. They called them strigoi in Romania, Upir in Russia, Nosferatu in the shadowed tongues of old. Each name whispered the same fear, that the dead could rise, hungry for the life they once had. Families dug up corpses, driving stakes through hearts, cutting off heads, burning the remains to stop the spreading curse. It was not horror fiction, it was desperate faith. To them, the vampire was more than a monster. It was a question. Why does death never truly end? Every unexplained sickness, every drained animal, every nightmare of someone at the window, it became proof. And so the myth grew teeth, but behind superstition hid truth. In those shallow graves lay victims of plague, buried too soon. When bodies swelled, when gas escaped through their mouths, it looked like the dead had fed. Fear became legend and legend became power. Over time, the vampire crossed borders and centuries, a symbol of hunger that never dies. The hunger for life, for youth, for blood. And on Halloween, when we wear their fangs and laugh at the dark, perhaps we echo those first terrified villagers, trying even now to make peace with what we cannot kill. As the centuries passed, the vampire slipped from the graveyard into the mansion. The peasants stopped digging up corpses because the hunger had moved into the halls of power. Behind velvet doors and candlelit rooms, whispers spread of rituals that promised eternal youth. They said the nobility had found a new way to cheat death, not with faith, but with blood. Some claimed they bathed in it. Others said they drank it, always in secret, always at night. In the cold corridors of 17th century Europe, life and death became a game for the rich. Physicians spoke of vital essence. Alchemists promised immortality. And somewhere between science and sin, the vampire found its reflection, not in the grave, but in the mirror. Perhaps the most infamous was a countess whose beauty never seemed to fade. They say she believed that blood could wash away time itself. Servants vanished, doors were locked, and when they were opened again, the walls ran red. Whether myth or madness, the message was the same. Power demands sacrifice. And the higher they climbed, the darker the hunger grew. Halloween became their mask. While peasants feared monsters in the woods, the true predators wore gold and lace. They hid behind the laughter of the masquerade, sipping crimson wine while pretending not to taste the truth. Even now, when we toast under the orange glow of jack-o'-lanterns, when we joke about drinking blood or call ourselves creatures of the night, maybe we're remembering them, the ones who fed in silence, the ones who made the legend real. Halloween, the night we laugh at fear. We open our doors to strangers in masks, hand them candy and call it tradition. But somewhere beneath the fun, something ancient is watching. Because this night doesn't just belong to ghosts and witches, it belongs to them. Vampires have always loved Halloween. It's the one night when they don't have to hide. The streets fill with fake fangs and painted blood, and no one looks twice at the pale figure walking alone beneath the streetlights. No one questions the quiet stranger at the edge of the party. We decorate with coffins, bats, and crimson glass. We wear their symbols, we speak their names. And every October 31st, the world begins to look a little more like theirs. A place where night rules and masks make monsters beautiful. Centuries ago, villagers locked their doors and prayed for sunrise. Now we throw those doors open wide. We invite the darkness in, we celebrate it. Maybe that's why Halloween feels so electric, because somewhere deep down, we know it's not pretend. There's a pulse under the laughter, a shiver under the music. Something older than any costume. The same hunger that once made men dig up their dead now hides beneath plastic fangs and pumpkin lights. And as the moon rises and the candles burn low, the line between myth and memory begins to blur. Because on Halloween, the vampires don't need to hunt. We come to them, smiling, unafraid, offering our throats beneath the blood-red sky. Centuries pass and still the vampire survives. No longer feared, now adored. We invite them into our homes through screens and stories, turning monsters into idols, predators into lovers. They've traded their coffins for cameras, their hunger for charm. But beneath the beauty, the legend still breathes. In films and books, they walk among us, immortal, flawless, untouched by time. We envy them, we want to be them. Maybe that's why the myth endures, because we no longer fear the vampire. We want what it has. In cities around the world, real people gather in secret. They call themselves living vampires. They claim to feed on energy or on blood, with consent, with ritual, with reverence. Psychologists call it fantasy, anthropologists call it culture. But to those who feel the pull, it's something more, a quiet religion of the night. And yet, when the lights go out on Halloween, when the laughter fades and the masks come off, that old instinct still stirs. The one that whispers, something is watching. Because the myth never needed fangs to survive, only believers. The vampire is not a creature anymore, it's an idea. A reflection of what we crave most, beauty, eternity, power, control. It's in the stories we tell, the music we play, the faces we dream of. Maybe the real curse was never immortality, but forgetting that every myth begins with truth. And so we arrive at the night we all know, the night of masks, laughter, and flickering candlelight. October 31st, Halloween. But maybe we have forgotten something. Once this night was sacred. It was a boundary between the living and the dead. A night when prayers were spoken, candles were lit, and the darkness was respected. Now we dress in costume, carve smiling faces into pumpkins, and call it celebration. But the veil is still thin. Somewhere in the shadows they wait. The ones who never truly left. The Strigoi, the Nosferatu. The forgotten dead who rise in memory and myth. We laugh at them, we pretend they are not real. But Halloween tells the truth. They are here, in the corners, in the wind, in the flicker of the candle flame. Every mask, every fake fang, every shadow that moves just beyond sight, it is a tribute. A recognition that some hunger can never die, that some legends never fade. This is the night when the story comes full circle. We are the villagers, the aristocrats, the believers. We light the fires, we open the doors, we invite the night in. And when the moon rises, blood red and heavy in the sky, remember this: the monsters we fear may not be in the grave. They may be waiting inside us, in our desires, in our forgotten prayers, in the thrill we feel when darkness falls. Tonight the vampires watch, and tonight we smile because we are already theirs. Happy Halloween!